That show was so good. PlayStation players, look at this. We got a Sony pony is gonna go to Game Pass. Like, bro, I saw people say like, I bet you he's already secretly subscribed to Game Pass. Bro, listen to me. Listen, I subscribe.
I haven't done a video about MBG, one of my favorite PlayStation fanboys, in a while. That's mainly because we haven't had a good MBG crash out in a while. However, a couple days ago, on his stream, bro had one of the best crash outs I've ever seen him had. Like, he is super upset. Not only over the fact that Xbox has games now, which it has had for a while, but now because of the recent developer direct where they showed off like some really fucking good games, like Doom, the Dark Ages, for example, he's extra pissed. And he also doesn't like the fact that people have been making fun of him for a bunch of different things. But I do want to start off this video with one specific clip from his stream. Okay, so let's just get right into it, right?
I mean, look, it would be, I would love to see it happen just to see the reactions. Because it would be like a bomb just went off, bro. If Sony just was like, we canceled the PC port of Spider-Man 2.
We know, dude. You don't have to tell us. We know that you would love for PlayStation to cancel PC ports. Okay, you don't have to make like, oh, it would be so insane and so crazy, and oh, I would love for them to do it just so I can see the reaction. We know you're a PlayStation fan. We know you worship this plastic box, right? We know you suck Sony cock every day on the internet, okay? We know that if Sony, that you're really fucking pissed that Sony puts their games on PC and you would love to see them canceled. You don't have to fucking tell us like, oh, it would be so funny for the reactions. We know you would think that's funny. We know, okay? But unfortunately for you, you're not gonna get those reactions. We are. We're getting your reaction every time Sony decides to port another game to PC, because they will continue to do that, I can guarantee you, right? Because it makes them a lot of fucking money, okay? And they're not gonna cancel Spider-Man 2. It's basically already out on PC, right? It just needs to actually come out, but like the fucking store page is there. Anyway, that little clip aside, let's now get into like the meat and the bones of this crash out on stream. Now, it all started because, you know, after the developer direct, a lot of people started making fun of the fact that MBG is subscribed to Game Pass. People found out and they started to make fun of him for it, saying things like, oh, the developer direct was so good, even one of the biggest Sony ponies subscribed to Game Pass. And he does not fuck with those jokes at all. It really pissed him off.
Really did it for me was on the Xbox developer direct stream where I said, yeah, maybe I'll consider subscribing to Game Pass. Holy shit, I rattled the entire Xbox. I showed their true colors, bro. And I wasn't even trying. I had no idea. These morons, they're so stupid. They're over here be like, oh my god, that show was so good. PlayStation players, look at this, we got a Sony pony is gonna go to Game Pass. Like, bro, I saw people saying like, I bet you he's already secretly subscribed to Game Pass.
Yes, dude, it's the reason why everybody was talking about it like that is because it's fucking hilarious. It's hilarious that one of the biggest PlayStation fanboys who constantly shits on Xbox, shits on Game Pass, shits on Xbox games, just everything about Xbox, right, has Game Pass. That's fucking hilarious, right? Like, I don't understand why you're getting so pissed off about it. It's fucking funny. If you found out that Colt Eastwood, for example, secretly has a PS5 and owns every single PlayStation exclusive, right, and plays those more than his Xbox, you would also think that's funny. But because it's people joking about you wanting to get Game Pass after the developer direct, that's not funny. That's not funny, guys. That's not funny, okay, because you're making fun of me, and I don't like that. By the way, I still want to point out, this is the same guy that was just earlier talking about how funny it would be if Spider-Man 2 got cancelled because he'd get to make fun of like the Xbox and PC people, I guess. But like, again, when people make fun of him, that's not okay. That's not funny, guys. That's not funny. Don't do that.
Bro, listen to me. Listen, I subscribed to Game Pass literally live on my channel in May of last year. You stupid fucking idiot.
I guess that he thinks this is some huge own, like, you stupid fucking Xbox fanboys, I'm actually already subscribed to Game Pass. Like, that first of all, that only makes it funnier. Second of all, no one, like, you're pretending like this was public knowledge, which technically it was, because you subscribed to Game Pass on your stream, right? But you're making the fatal, like, assumption that people care about you and what you're doing. The vast majority of people that make fun of you don't constantly keep up with what you're doing. I don't. I just see clips like this of you crashing out on stream and then make videos making fun of you, right? Or critiquing you. But I don't fucking watch all your streams. I didn't know you were subscribed to Game Pass. How the fuck am I supposed to know that? Right? How am I supposed to know that the guy who constantly shits on Game Pass and Xbox games secretly has Game Pass so he can play Xbox games day one? I didn't. How the fuck am I supposed to know that? I don't. It's fucking funny. It's hilarious that I now know that. It's the funniest shit I've heard. Why do you assume everybody knows this? Am I wrong for thinking it's weird that he assumes that everybody just knows that?
This is literally what I'm saying. And I'm like, what are you people? And these are the same people, mind you. This is the important part. These are the same people that are coming to me being like, let me tell you why Sony sucks, bro. It's like, you ain't good. I don't want to hear shit from you, dude. I don't want to hear a fucking thing from you.
Why is he so salty about this? Why is he so angry? I genuinely, I don't get it. I don't get it. Why is he so angry about it? That's also why I think why he just said the thing like, oh, you fucking idiots, I've had Game Pass all along. It was very public, you're just stupid for not knowing. I think the only reason he said that so angrily is because he really just did not like the fact that people were making fun of him for having Game Pass. So like, he's full on crashing out at this point. This is the same guy that cried on stream, I believe, when like he saw that PlayStation was porting their games to PC. Something like that. I'm not quite sure. I do know that this guy has cried on stream before regarding PlayStation news being negative. So I shouldn't be surprised that he's like so emotionally immature that he can't handle a couple of people making fun of him for owning Game Pass.
Because you don't know what you're talking about. You have no idea what you're talking about. These people have followings of literal morons who just say things. They don't back any of it up.
Well, you heard it, guys. You're morons. You're all morons. You're all idiots. You just say things and you don't back them up, okay? Does it matter that 90% of the time we are correct, right? And 90% of the time we do back it up and we just, make fun of you or discredit you or whatever. That doesn't matter. We're morons because MBG said so, guys. Because he's mad that people make fun of him for having Game Pass. You know what's funnier than you actually having Game Pass, MBG? What's funnier is your reaction to people finding out you have Game Pass. This whole thing you're doing with getting super salty and like crashing out over the fact that people made a couple of jokes about one of the biggest PlayStation fanboys having Game Pass, this is way more funny than you actually having Game Pass. If you just owned up to it, it was like, yeah, I have Game Pass because I have a channel about Xbox and PlayStation news and I want to like keep up with what's going on Game Pass so I can accurately talk about it, and that's why I got Game Pass. If you just said that and ignored the jokes, right, and didn't play into them as heavily as you're doing now by getting fucking really upset and salty about them, then this would have blown over instantly and nobody would. I couldn't have made this video. I couldn't have made this video right now making fun of you if you responded like a normal fucking person. But you can't because you got the emotional maturity of a 12-year-old girl. Okay, and the second anything happens that isn't to your liking, you cry or rage about it on your stream.
Like, it's why it's so funny to me when it's like I see certain Xbox players where they're not, I don't know if they're necessarily Xbox players, but people on the internet. They're like, I thought Xbox had no games. What happened to Xbox had no games? And it's like, I get it, man. They have games now because they fucking bought 2 publishers. Wow.
Hey, let me tell you a secret. PlayStation also bought most of their major first-party studios, and so did Nintendo.
right? Like all of them have in-house studios that they created, obviously, but like a lot of their big studios, include like Naughty Dog, Sucker Punch, whatever for Nintendo, will be like Hell Laboratories or Retro Studios. They all bought those. It's nothing new.
Who would have thought that that's all it took, was buying 2 publishers, one of them being the biggest in the industry? But that's not even the part that's funny to me. The part that's funny to me is like, dude, why are we going to sit here and pretend that the Xbox One generation was not a complete disaster? I was literally there when people were saying Xbox had no games.
How is that at all relevant? Oh, Xbox is doing really well now, but hey, remember that time when the Xbox One was doing really bad? Like, how is that at all relevant in any way, shape, or form, dude? Like, yeah, I get it. The whole Xbox has no games thing started during the Xbox One era. But people are still saying it to this day, and it doesn't apply anymore because Xbox is making far more games than PlayStation is. At this point, the PS5 literally has no games. And I'm not lying, like all the games that they do have are remakes. You got remakes, and I don't count those as real games because they're just remakes. They're games that already existed. But I get it, okay? MBG, you're pissed. You're angry, okay? The Xbox has no games argument doesn't work anymore, but the PlayStation has no games argument now does work because PlayStation actually doesn't have games or isn't making games, and Xbox is. And that upsets you, so you have to like take it back to the good times when Xbox was failing and all was well in the world, you know? It's fucking pathetic, dude. Fucking pathetic. So sad.
I was literally there, and I'm here to tell you that, yes, it was a slight exaggeration. They didn't literally have no games, but what people were really trying to say is the games you have are so far and few in between and so mediocre when they finally drop, it's pathetic.
Correction, it was pathetic. Again, you remember, MBG, it's no longer the glory days of the PS4, okay? It's now it's the current gen, and Xbox is putting out high quality games at a somewhat consistent basis. Not really consistently, but far more consistent than PlayStation is. And of far higher quality than that PlayStation games. Because what was the last game PlayStation put out? Fucking Concord?
Got Sony out here eating your lunch with Bloodborne, with Spider-Man, with God of War, with Horizon, and you're out here being like, you want Recore? That's what people were pissed off about. That's why people looked at Xbox, laughed, and said, you ain't got no games, bro.
Again, what does this have to do with right now? Like, that was then. You're correct. Xbox put out very, very few exclusive, and the exclusives that they did put out were often of mediocre quality. But that was then. This is now. PlayStation is not putting out games. They canceled they had 16 live service games in production. They canceled 12 of them. One of them that did come out was Concord. They're not putting out any other games. The only exclusives that are coming to their platform, because exclusive is a term I don't really use. If it's on fucking PC, it's not an exclusive, it's a multi-plat. Console exclusive is a made-up term, doesn't exist. If a game is on multiple platforms, it's a multi-plat, man. You have to live in today's reality. Okay, you can get angry about all this shit. Right, about how Xbox used to be bad and that's why we did it, and please stop reminding us about how Xbox has games now and PlayStation doesn't, or you can accept the fact that PlayStation is now so starved for games that Xbox is having to step in and provide the PlayStation with games, and the Xbox games are actually the highest selling games on PlayStation right now.
And that's why Phil Spencer got so angry that he decided I gotta buy 2 publishers. That's the whole point. That's the whole point, man, is people are trying to take things for what they're trying to look at the way things are now here in 2025, and they're trying to convince themselves as well as others that, well, if you look back 4, 5, 6 years ago, they're the same thing. And it's no, they're not.
No one's doing that. I haven't seen a single person do that. What I have seen is a lot of PlayStation fanboys still use the joke Xbox has no games, and then people pointing out, rightfully so, that Xbox is making more games at the moment than PlayStation is.
They're literally not. And the fact that you're trying to put those two things together, it's like, what happened to they ain't got no games? Like it would be like if 5 years from now, in the middle of the couple years after, 1 or 2 years after the PlayStation 6 launched, Sony had the strongest first party lineup they ever had. They got 7 first party, 8 first party bangers coming within 12 to 16 months. And it would be like, what happened to PlayStation has no games? It's like, bro, we're just going to pretend that there wasn't 5 to 6 years in between when people were saying that?
Yeah, because that's how it works. Xbox has no games doesn't apply anymore. You can keep saying it, but it doesn't apply anymore. I don't understand how you don't get this. I mean I do. You probably have a fucking IQ below room temperature. You fucking glue sniffer. But it makes no sense. Yeah, if that were to happen, if the PS6 launched and had the strongest first-party lineup of any PlayStation console ever, then the joke PlayStation 5 has no games or PlayStation has no games no longer applies. But for the moment it does. And the Xbox has no games joke doesn't apply anymore. And no one's pretending that those bad years didn't happen when Xbox had no games and PlayStation does. We all know they happened, but that's not now. That's not the current reality. That's not the present. Anyway, boys, with that being said, I hope you all enjoyed this beautiful PlayStation fanboy crash out, and I'll see you all in the next video. Oh, don't forget to like and subscribe, by the way, if you enjoyed it. And I'll see you all in the next video. Goodbye.